Hello everybody, welcome back to the McNutter Butters. I am Caitlin McNutt and I have this bright idea that we're going to sit in front of my shower curtain. It's just going to work. Anyway, so I have had one of my followers ask me to do a sort of comparison between Sonlight versus Rod and Staff. So I have compiled a list and I am ready to tell you guys about it. We have done the Sonlight pre-K program and we have done the Rod and Staff pre-K program years back to back. Sonlight we did with our 6-year-old son, and the Rod and Staff pre-K program we are currently working with our 5-year-old daughter. So, yep, we've got the insight. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump into this and get through this list. Don't want this to be too long for you guys. So for Sonlight, the price. Let's talk price. Sonlight's price for the complete program for pre-K is $370. Like, it's a lot, in my opinion. Rod and Staff, however, for their complete program for like their level A through level L, I think, or is it K? K or L? One or the other. Is $55. So that's a chunk of a difference for pre-K. Alright, so I have like sort of 5 main points here after price. Okay, pointy number 1 is what they are. I'm prepared for this. Alright, so Sonlight has, I feel like, a more of a Charlotte Mason feel, and Rod and Staff is like a 10-piece workbook kind of thing. Like, you work through the workbooks. You know, so you have to decide for yourself what you want out of that. If you want something more, I guess you would say enriching, where your kiddos are, you know, being read to, or if you want something more, hey, this is our workbook and we're gonna get through this, you know, in so many days, whatever. You have to decide that for yourself. Pointy number 2 is that I feel like Sonlight is very intense. It's pretty intense. I feel like it doesn't matter what grade, what level you're at, I feel like Sonlight is very intense. And Rod and Staff, with their pre-K program at least, it felt very gradual. Like, it started off very simple and then just slowly, bit by bit, little bites at a time, worked you up to, you know, them learning stuff that I was like, I was going over it when I first started looking at it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, this is book 7. There's like no way this kid is gonna get this year. But she did, because of the little gradual bites. And you really see that when they work through it. I feel like Sonlight is just right off the bat like, wow, like just really hardcore. Alright, pointy number 3. Sonlight seems better for teaching reading. It really does. It's really good for teaching reading. I feel like that is definitely something they're good with. And you know, with our kiddo, we're already gearing up to have to do like all about reading or something like that for next year, which is fine. It's fine. I don't mind having to do that with her. But with Sonlight, it kind of felt like with our son that you know, we're doing all about reading with him, but it seems like he kind of already knows it all. And it could just be that he's really smart, but it really seemed like to me like Sonlight just did a really good job with teaching the reading. And I also wrote down for point number 3. But Rod and Staff feels more gentle and less teacher teaching required, which sounds funny. Like Sonlight, I feel like you had to really be in teacher mode, which isn't a bad thing. But with the Rod and Staff, it just seemed like you didn't really have to be in a teachery teaching kind of mode. It just kind of did its thing, you know what I mean? It just did its thing. They do the lessons and it just worked out. So things that I like specifically about each one. Alright, so Rod and Staff, the things that I specifically like for their pre-K program is it's all in one place. All in one place. That to me is just lovely. Just your workbooks, you're good to go. It doesn't take long. I mean, she's doing 5, 6, 7 pages each day, and is done in 30 minutes. Like, it doesn't take long at all. I've already stated before, it feels gentle. It just feels gentle, like a very gentle flow, and I like that. And I think it feels that way because it's a lot of games and crafts and gluing and cutting things with scissors and all that. And for the most part, it seems like my little girl feels like it's all games. And I'm cool with that. I'm really cool with her feeling like it's just mostly games and crafts and things like that. And it works. Like, it really works. Also, something else I like about Rod and Staff is very Christ-centered. There's a lot of bringing that back around, and I like that. Sonlight, things that I like about the Sonlight. Okay, so things I like about Sonlight is that, I don't know how to describe it. It's just really good. It is. It's really good. It's a very good program. It's a very good curriculum. Every time it's time to go back for school stuff, I keep coming back around to Sonlight. The price really turns me off to it, honestly. It really does. But also, I know it's going to sound so stupid and petty, but like, it just doesn't overwhelm me, like, in a positive way. It doesn't overwhelm me in a bad way, but not in a good way either. It's just, it's good. The price sucks, but it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't hit the right spot. It just doesn't do it. But it is very good. It is good. And they are very educationally sound. It's just a little too intense. So what I dislike, if you cannot tell, I like Sonlight, but it's definitely got more dislikes. So we'll start with Rod and Staff. Stuff that I dislike about Rod and Staff's pre-K. Now, when I do my overall Rod and Staff review, like overall, you will see a lot more dislikes. But as far as their pre-K program goes, I just don't like how they do like world cultures. I feel like it's very stereotyped and cheesy and just not accurate for today. If we were talking history, I feel like that would be one thing, but we're talking culture. And like, for example, when they talk about Eskimos and stuff, like people who live in Alaska, it's saying, oh, it's so cold there, like all the time, and they have to wear like all these layers of clothes, and they still do sled dogs, and your kid will do a craft with sled dogs, which is really cute, and she loved it. She thought that was just the funnest little thing. But we follow people here on YouTube who live in Alaska, North Pole, Alaska, and they don't live in, what are they called, igloos. They don't go around with sled dog teams unless it's like the Iditarod race. And they have cars. And they go to McDonald's and the mall and Starbucks. So I'm just like, the cheesiness in the world culture is just, I don't know. It just bugs me. I don't like it. It might be a good base for like future history lessons or something, but I almost feel like it's not good to start your child off at a young age with these generic, cheesy stereotypes that just do not reflect cultures of today. Could just be me. But that's one thing I dislike about Rod and Staff pre-K program, and that's pretty much it. And then for Sonlight, the things that I dislike is it takes too much time. It just does. It takes too much time. It's too intense, as I have said over and over, and I feel like it should be fun. For a pre-K program, I really feel like it should be fun. And it just wasn't. I had my son last year dreading having to do it. And with the Rod and Staff, my little one's not dreading it. So there's that. Also, Sonlight is just too difficult, even in the pre-K program, to be taught with other kids that you're having to teach. If you've just got one kid, you might be good to go with this. But I have a 4th grader, a kindergartner, and a pre-Ker. pre-K-er, preschooler. And it's just, sounds like my kids tearing down their bedroom, but it's just too much to have to do in one day. Too many moving parts. I just feel like there's too many separated pieces, and like I said with Rod and Staff, it's just the workbooks. It's just right there. It's just simple. And I think simple works. So yeah, that is my overall review of Sonlight versus Rod and Staff. If you can't tell, I highly prefer Rod and Staff. And if I ever am blessed with more babies when they get to pre-K, it's gonna be the Rod and Staff. Like, I really love the pre-K program for them. I have bragged on it to several of new mommies that are getting ready to start homeschooling this year, and some public school moms who are having to start homeschooling. Well, they don't have to, but they want to. Topic for another day. But yeah, so I prefer the Rod and Staff for the pre-K program. I hope this helped. If it did, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Comment below your favorite pre-K program and tell me why. And all right, guys, we'll see you next time.